probably say is the best duo at corner. And they have a talented pair of young safeties in Javion Holland and Brandon Jones. I think the record's 10-7.
10-7.
They just missed the playoffs just because the AFC is so loaded. Maybe they sneak in, but I'm just going to have to have them at 10-7. But kind of like what Luggs is saying, Mike McDaniels, even though he's inexperienced, everyone talked about how not only liked he is, which is a big thing for a coach. Players love playing for him, and he is a very smart coach. Obviously, we're about his inexperience if we're going to with Ken Dorsey too. But I just look at all the additions they made with Mike McDaniels. I think they're going to be in the mix to possibly make the playoffs, but I have them just missing it.
Isn't that about the simplest offense to do for the Dolphins? Okay, whether Teddy or Tua. Oh, there's a jet sweep with Tyreek Hill. Oh, there's a bubble screen to Tyreek Hill. I mean, the whole offense is going to go through that guy, right? You and I think, Luggs, you could, even do that, man, with a clipboard. You could be the next, whatever the heck, Bridgewater coach guy calling the offense. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Until that 400-pound guy hit me from behind knocked my ribs through California. So anyway.
Yeah.
But in third position, I got the Patriots, even though I got a lot of questions. I mean, can Mac Jones continue to improve? Or is he, get ready for this generation's Phillip Rivers? Okay.
Meaning what? He did pretty well.
He never won the big one. That's all that matters. Also, I'm curious as to who is the offensive coordinator. Is it Joe Judge or Matt Patricia? And in his perennial 37th season as a backup, Brian Hoyer. Will he make a difference?
Love the Hoyer man.
So lots of questions. And former Patriot Gronk actually hung it up today. He says he ain't coming back to the Bucks. So that ties that up for me.
Man, he's pretty sore. Don't you think? He's so beat up. He's got to just say, I'm done. Yep.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, I'm sure.
Patriots, okay.
I gotta say again, this division for the most part, we're through three teams, and Luggs and I are pretty much lockstep. Where I think they have some talent, and obviously Bill Belichick is still one of the best coaches, but I think he's gonna have to really lean on his genius if they're gonna be in contention. Just because I think even though we have them third, the Luggs and I have them third, talent wise, I think they're the fourth team in the division. I think Jets have more talent, but I think the main strength of this team is their running backs, which is not usually good for a team in the NFL that be your strength. But Damian Harris is probably is a good all-around back. Ramondre Stevens is a big bruiser with a burst. The rookie Pierre Strong, who I really liked coming out, gives them a speed option. And then James White gives them that third down back that they need. But man, you look at, there's a few weaknesses you could really point out. Their wide receivers, their defensive line overall isn't good, but mainly their secondary. Possibly Malcolm Butler starting. He was retired for most of last year. Jalen Mills is adequate. Devin McCourty is extremely long in the tooth. Kyle Duggar is probably the only starter who possibly has the potential to be like a great player. But they have two rookies that really need to step up significantly. Because you look at some of the teams we talked about, you look at the Bills with Stephon Diggs, you look at Tyreek Hill, you look at Jalen Waddle, you look at Garrett Wilson with the Jets, or Elijah Moore with the Jets. There's a lot of very talented wide receivers just in division that they're just going to be hosed at if they have no one that can cover them, which I think is a real possibility. I have them 8-9. Missing the playoffs, kind of like Luggs too. I know he never named a defensive coordinator for the last few years since Patricia in 2017, but this offensive coordinator thing is very bizarre. And Josh McDaniels, say what you will about him, I think he was a very good offensive coordinator. It's a huge drop off, I think, to whatever they have. And I like Mac Jones, but I worry kind of like what Luggs is maybe alluding to. I'm not going to say I like Phillip Rivers. Obviously he doesn't, but I'm just saying that I worry that maybe he drops off this year, not because he's not good. It's kind of like Tua maybe in reverse, where Tua didn't have a lot of talent last year and didn't have good coaching, and now he has those elements. You take those away from Mac Jones. Mac Jones may look like he regressed, but I think it's just more his situation got a lot worse, and it's hard for him to overcome. I have him 8-9, not making the playoffs.
Taking a step back last year, dog. They were what were they? 10-7. You got them dropping 2 games. Wow. First of all, I got a couple things. You said Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches. Wait. He is the best coach, isn't he? Isn't that what everybody says?
I will say
all
this.
time.
I would say historically, yes. I'd say right now, and this isn't really fair to him, it really does come down to Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's.
Ooh.
So as great as he is at X's and O's, you look at the talent on the other 3 teams, just in division. We're not even talking about other teams in the NFL, just in division. I think talent-wise, they're the worst out of the 4.
No risk it, no biscuit. Also, Lugs, Phillip Rivers may win that Super Bowl yet. I say, predicting now as a head coach one day. I know he's not playing anymore. All right. You guys, I think there's one team left in the division. By the way, it was so hot today. My thermometer goes up to, are you kidding? All right, take it away.
Crickets.
Leaves the Jets, the New York Nets, Jets, and
Sets. No surprise there.
Yeah.
I mean, the only real question to me is, can Zach Wilson really make that big jump into a significant quarterback in the NFL? That's my only question. At this point, I don't think he's the best on the team. I think that Joe Flacco is still a better quarterback. It's just that Joe Flacco doesn't have a real future. But other than that, there's not much to talk about at the Jets. They're really.
I'm glad you said that, because we're not lockstep completely in this division. Because Joe Flacco at this point, I mean, he's still got an arm, but other than that, I don't think he can really do a whole lot. I think Zach Wilson will improve. He gets to be in the same offense he was last year, which, just a familiarity and going into an offense year 2. Number 2 is mainly just he has a lot of talent. Their offensive line got better. The wide receiver wise, Elijah Moore is healthy because he was injured for big portions of the year last year. They added Garrett Wilson with the 10th overall pick from Ohio State. He's going to add a lot. Then also they added CJ Uzomah, the tight end from the Bengals. That will help. And they also they added Rucker from Ohio State, who was a very talented tight end. So their tight ends got better. And then they massively improved at running back, getting the Iowa State running back. So he'll be the starter with Michael Carter as the backup. So offensively, they'll be much better. Carl Lawson, he was injured last year. He'll be back. So you add him with Jermaine Johnson and to Sheldon Rankins and Quentin Williams. Like, that's their strength, is their D-line. And, I have them 7-10. They just missed the playoffs, but just, again, the reason I think they can overtake New England, at least in this division, is just pure talent wise. I think they're just better than New England at this point.
So you're giving them 7 wins last year. Wow. That's an improvement. A lot of people just say 5 and have them battling to take that coveted first draft pick next year, but you're saying 7 wins. See, that's a pretty competitive division then.
Well, the addition of Breece Hall at running back they were a good running team last year. It's just Michael Carter had points where he got injured. And Lugs knows this as a North Carolina guy. Michael Carter's good, but you need another guy to kind of help spell him. And that's what they've already talked about. Breece Hall will be the Batman to Carter's Robin. So they have that to really build around their offense. And then Zach Wilson, they'll probably do a lot of play action. So I think offensively they'll be better. I think talent-wise, obviously one of their top picks was Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. Like, he gives them a corner. And like I said, I think their pass rush will be improved with Carl Lawson back and Jermaine Johnson, who was also one of their first overall, first draft picks. So I think talent-wise they're better. I think Robert Saleh, everyone talked about him. Like, they believe him. I just think, it's kind of like what possibly happens to Belichick this year. It's not that Belichick's not a good coach. We don't have talent. teams can exploit you not having talent. There's not much you can coach up if a guy's not good. So
Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, and Jets, somewhere in that order. All right, that's your AFC East for 2022. Can you believe we're already talking about 2023? Yikes. Ooh. Man, that's crazy. Okay, hey, Lugs, you want to talk a little bit about, what was it now? Golf. Golf.
The LIV.
Live. Yeah, I live for it.
They basically took the thunder out of the U.S. Open, pretty much. But today, Brooks Koepka finally announced that he's going to become part of that to join Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, and Greg Norman. It's not really a competitor to the PGA. It's like a series of events where they're just paid,
ridiculous, right?
Mickelson, I think it's $200 million.
Yep.
It's crazy. If somebody comes up and says to me, I'm going to give you $200 million, all you got to do is show up and have fun, I'm going to do that. I get it. The downside is it's coming from a guy who had another human being sawed up with a bone saw. So, you got all of that playing into it.
So that's why you do this podcast, just for the money.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man.
Dang, I thought you liked this, man. Come on.
And the Nana sandwiches.
Yeah. Hey, give me another. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, but it's rivalry. I mean, money talks, money walks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how you preface it. You're like, I wouldn't mind someone paying me $200 million. Like, but it's blood money. That's
kind of, sort of.
I mean,
it is.
That's the part where it makes it, morally probably a poor choice. I mean, if you're, you go.
No, selfishly, they don't get Spotify over there, do they? Are we in trouble? Just checking. Hello, testing 1 2. Is this thing on?
The other thing that's crazy too is like,
I'm starting up my bone saw. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thought that was your Harley. Okay, go ahead.
It was just that these they're not even going to air on television. I doubt they would ever air on American television. Right. It's all on YouTube and Facebook. So it's like also very bizarre. Like if you want to watch, if someone does want to watch these guys. So I don't know. It's like that part is weird to me too. It's like you're getting paid $200 million for most people not to see.
It's kind of like the CFL or something, isn't it? It's like, well, it's kind of there. It's kind of the same game, but it's not, and it's on a small screen in a different country.
Well, I think the push of this came from Greg Norman, who's been fighting for something like this for 20 years because he despises the PGA. And the PGA is really like the old NCAA.
Yeah.
And pre-NIL, of course. But so anyway, I can't cry too much for any of those guys.
No.
They make their decision, and it's their decision to make. So,
plus he can sell some more shark, those hats he wears and merchandise and stuff that is, been his trademark for.
I don't understand why he isn't pushing Omega XL or something like that.
What does that mean? What is Omega XL? Is that a surfboard? What is that?
It's that supplement that's supposed to take care of all your joint pains. So
how come you know so much about that crap right there? Okay.
Well, I mean, I am a street doctor, so.
SD. All right, let's get off of that. We've lost control. We've lost control of the show. USFL, it's winding up. I have to admit, I've watched very little. I wasn't interested. It was played on the same field in the same place in the same time every week. And other than change the color of the uniforms, what do you guys think? What did you think about the USFL as a thing?
I caught the first couple of weeks. But as I've said before, football with me is a cold weather sport or a cooler weather sport. So getting into it was just tough. Plus, having no crowd there, you didn't have any juice to it.
I agree.
It was not as good. And after it's all said and done, we're looking for a spectacle. we're looking for something that, jams you up. It makes you crazy a little bit. But I think it's better than the previous